It's time for our final award of the evening. Our next presenter is a consultant and facilitator who has spent most of her career working to advance social, economic, racial, and health equity in low-resource communities of color. She was a program officer at the Oprah Winfrey Foundation prior to co-founding the Fresh Moves Mobile Produce Market here in Chicago, and with our next honoree. Please welcome Sheila Muhammad.
Thank you. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good. So it's an enormous honor and privilege for me to be here in the room with all of you, beautiful and amazing people. The awardees are absolutely amazing, but it's an even greater honor and privilege for me to introduce the last, but certainly not the least, award to Dara Cooper. When Dara first asked me to be her award presenter, of course I was honored and excited, but then I learned that I only had 2 to 3 minutes to introduce her. So I was like, how in the heck am I gonna talk about Dara and all of her badassness in 2 to 3 minutes? So I decided to just focus on my personal experience with Dara, because it really speaks to not only her badassness, you're gonna hear that word a lot for the next 2 to 3 minutes, but it really talks about how I really became present with her unwavering commitment to food and racial justice. So I first met Dara in 2010. We were just talking about that. We really don't remember. I think it was around 2010. And I was introduced to her by Deborah Bennett, a friend and colleague who is also here tonight to honor Dara. So thank you for the introduction. I have been working on this mobile produce market with some colleagues, and we were looking for a project director, someone who could manage the market and really bring our vision to life. So I was sharing that with Deborah, that we needed someone who was smart, a strategic thinker, someone who cared about and understood about food and how it could make you sick or how it could be your medicine, someone who cared about Black folks and disinvested communities, and someone who had a clear racial justice analysis. So Deborah immediately said, you need to meet Dara. And so at the time, Dara was volunteering at the Healthy Food Hub with some more amazing Black folks who are also here to honor Dara tonight. Fred Carter and Dr. Javunza Carter from the Black Oak Center for Sustainable Renewable Living, which is another great organization that's doing a lot for to create a fair and just food system. So we should also get to know them. So I set up the meeting with Dara, and we hit it off right away, connected immediately. And so I basically made the executive decision without talking to my co-founders that we were gonna hire her. And I'm glad I did. And so Dara and I would go on working very closely, communicating several times a day, pretty much 7 days a week, I'm pretty sure 7 days a week, for the next 1.5 to 2 years. And working with Dara was so magical for me because it was really the first time that I worked with someone who was truly philosophically aligned. We had so much in common, and the icing on the cake was that we were both unapologetically Black in our work and who we were. And so Dara and I, we agree on probably about 99% of the things that we talk about, which is amazing, right? Who gets to work with somebody like that? And then even the 1% was easy because we made sure we listened to each other. We actively listened to understand. And so we were able to make clear and intentional decisions about moving forward. And at the end of the day, for us, it was all about the community. And we were both clear that our job was bigger than increasing access to healthy food, access to people who looked like us. It was really about changing food systems infrastructure, pushing community-led solutions, and elevating racial justice while also acknowledging and lifting up Black folks' history and connection to land and agriculture in this country. The Fresh Moves Produce Market went on to become a nationally recognized model for healthy food distribution and community empowerment. And I will tell everyone and anyone that the secret sauce behind the success of Fresh Moves was Dara. She made the magic happen on the ground. Dara had grade school children from the west side of Chicago. And if you guys don't know the west side of Chicago, it's one of the neighborhoods that's always highlighted as the most violent in all the gun shootings, because that's where we chose to start the mobile market. But she had these young children trading in their flaming hot Cheetos for bags of grapes. That's amazing. had the babies buying broccoli to take home to their moms to cook. We have pictures of this. So Dara was really activating agency in the communities in every which kind of way imaginable. We had movie nights, discussions, a youth council, an in-school candy store turned produce store. Who? Nothing but our creative genius, Dara Cooper. So fast forward to today, our relationship has really blossomed into a beautiful friendship grounded in mutual respect and sisterhood. We are often each other's coach, ally, sounding board, and confidant. She calls me her big sis, but I call her my big little sis. And you will see from the short video that we're going to show about Dara that she's gone on to do more amazing things in this food space and beyond. She's a visionary food justice activist, a brilliant writer. In fact, if you haven't already, you need to check out her most recent report, Food Hubs, Racial Equity and Self-Determination in the South. She's an amazing organizer and a longtime prison abolitionist. So I'll close with this. Dara, I want to say that I am very proud of you. You make me better. You make all of us better. I love watching you soar. Know that I see you, and I'm always on the sidelines cheering for you. I love you and all of your badassness. Thank you for your gifts and your brilliance. Keep shining your light, keep flying, and keep making magic. So let's take a moment to shine the light on Dara and watch the video. Welcome, Dara Cooper.
My eyes are leaking. This isn't water. Good evening, y'all. Ooh, I heard two people. Good evening, y'all. I know it's the end of the night, but I want to greet y'all properly. Thank you so much for this. Just a very special thank you to Sheila Muhammad, co-founder, visionary of Fresh Moves, and also, as she mentioned, mentor, sister, friend, confidant. Before I start anything, I always have to start by thanking my ancestors and the ancestors of this movement on whose shoulders I and actually all of us stand. This award, particularly, I'm so thankful for. It's dedicated to the ancestors and also the future. And so tonight, the future is represented for me by my brilliant niece, Milan here, who I'm just so proud of. And I also want to thank my family here, all of my comrades, my mentors, my sisters, my chosen family, my other mama and other baba over here. Again, shout out to Pembroke, which is a 40-acre eco farm, completely off-grid, 40 miles outside of Chicago in Pembroke, Illinois. So please look up Black Oak Center for Sustainable Renewable Living here that I'm so honored. These are my food, I call them my food political mentors. And so definitely check them out. And I'm also thankful for all the people who couldn't, who weren't able to physically be here, but who are definitely cheering very loudly for the fact that to celebrate a revolutionary, unapologetically Black radical feminist, and all of the thousands and thousands of radical visionaries and fearless leaders that I get to work with through the National Black Food and Justice Alliance, through the Heal Food Alliance, through the Movement for Black Lives, and so many others, to be among the incredible leaders receiving, so I'm receiving this on behalf of so many incredible leaders receiving this James Beard Leadership Award. What an incredible honor. And what an incredible message from the James Beard Foundation to honor leaders and movements like these incredible folks. Ms. Sherrod has been a mentor, just an amazing role model for younger folks coming up in the movement. And so I just give you such deep gratitude and salute, and it's such an honor to be able to work with you and also, to follow your footsteps as best as I can. But what an incredible message to honor leaders and movements who aren't satisfied with the superficial Band-Aid solutions, but who are instead actually boldly fighting for justice in a system, a food system, quite frankly, that's rooted in the dispossession of land, attempted genocide, the enslavement of African peoples, and a system of racial capitalism that continues to this day to dehumanize, compromise, and exploit black and brown bodies, labor, and dignity via the food system. Also, there are leaders who are fighting the same system that continues the legacy of slavery, or what we now also know as the prison industrial complex. And I actually want to talk about the abolitionist movement that I'm deeply inspired by right now. I'm so inspired by the movement towards abolition, especially here, I have to mention in Chicago, because of the reparations campaign that was won here, which is a huge victory that was against the John Burge police tortures. I draw great inspiration from the abolitionist movement and how we actually think about the food system. Abolition requires a confrontation with the actual reality of enslavement, exploitation, and it also requires a brilliant imagination to dream up and create what we actually want. Dreaming and conjuring what we actually deserve: justice, dignity, humanity, freedom, self-determination, love, beauty, joy, and to be our whole, full, healthy selves, with everyone being able to grow, produce, create, and provide good quality, fair, just food on every table in this country and worldwide. Can you imagine? I mentioned ancestors earlier. I think it's important to say we stand on the shoulders of giants in this work. Their work shows us our work is absolutely possible. Harriet Tubman, Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer, Bertha Cáceres, Cesar Chavez, Steve Biko, Winnie Mandela, Wangari Maathai, and former James Beard Award winner Cynthia Hayes. We stand on those shoulders. May we all continue the critical abolitionist, imaginative, visionary work and never settle for Band-Aids and empty solutions. To close, I want to shout out one of my favorite quotes by a comrade, Winona LaDuke, that says, "We don't want a bigger piece of the pie. We want a different pie." I look forward to fighting with each and every one of you for a more just, fair, sustainable, creative, freer, brilliant, much more generative, and beautifully nourishing pie for all of our people. Thank you.
All right, well, congratulations to all of this year's honorees. I hope you found inspiration in their stories. I certainly did. It's easy to be overwhelmed by the monumental nature of building a better food system, but I think we should follow our honorees' lead. There are small, everyday things each of us can do to make a difference. Shop at the farmer's market, support a local food co-op, volunteer at a community garden, write your leaders and tell them to support better nutrition and food policy. Get involved in your local schools. Promote grassroots movements through social media. Donate to your local food bank. So let's rise up as our food community always does when called upon. On behalf of the James Beard Foundation, thank you for joining us this evening as we build a safer, healthier, more equitable, and sustainable food world for the future. Good night.